Welcome to the UDP broadcast, a podcast where a group of friends get together and discuss gaming-related... I can't even get this right today. It's only been 3 weeks.
I mean, it's only been.
Yeah. Where a group of friends get together and discuss gaming-related topics, offering informed and uninformed opinions. I'm Luminary, and I'm accompanied today by my co-hosts, the Nordic Cajun.
Yo, what's goody, everybody? Welcome back!
The Eternal Barcode, Imee.
Hello! Barcode noises intensify.
And from the Emerald Dream, Crit Chicken.
I had to send him back from Florida. He went.
He went a little bit cuckoo.
My barcode left. No.
That's right. We've been traveling over the last 3 weeks.
All of us, yes, that is true.
Oh, good God. No,
I
bot.
thought we had a shield for that. What is that?
That is a bot who's about to be
Locked on target.
banned.
Locked on target. And banned.
He did and
Fuck
deleted.
Fuck off!
You need a sound effect.
This
for
is...
that.
Oh, yeah, actually, I have two of them.
Yes.
That works.
Yes. Come, bots. Come to me so I may ban you.
Come to Butthead.
Me 6 does not stand a chance.
Well,
And
I have been known to delete me 6 messages. So what are we doing this week? Now that
Well,
we're back.
we have a stupid sexy cat on our screen here. What's going on?
Oh, that's right. It's Dancwart's birthday today. For those of you who don't know, Dancwart is actually or allegedly a cat boy, depending on what day of Twitter you're looking at his profile.
Fair.
And
It's confirmed.
it's confirmed.
In numerous Discord servers, he is Catboy.
And he's also the artist behind Ping the Cat, our UDP broadcast emote, cute kitty looking thing that you see. So,
He was definitely not a death row bot in disguise.
Yes. With that in mind, I want chat to spam them. Spam the kitty. Super J, don't give me that look. Kitty. Yay. That's what I want to see. All the pings.
All the kitty cats.
So we do have quite the show tonight. We're doing things and stuff.
Indeed. We are talking about, on episode 16, we're going to do Smash, Pass.
Smash or pass. Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I arranged it that way.
And activate horny on main.
Activate
Nope.
Horny on main.
No horny. I will start banning.
Too bad you can't have like this little, like a sticker to have like little birthday hat on Dancwart's head.
Well,
Oh,
I can enable the holiday features for that, and it'll be little witch hats on all of them, but they're all offset.
Nice.
Anyway, sit back and enjoy the show. So, starting off with Smash, we covered something similar for the Evo Tour a couple episodes back, where Nintendo was just explicitly no, because that particular tournament was running with modded games, because you can't play the older Nintendo games over the network in a tournament type fashion without it having to be mod. And this is also talking about being antiquated hardware. So emulation was just a thing. You can't really do it with, again, another conversation we've had, which is the modder community making magic happen and hacking things to make it work so people can do stuff. But this time, it is a more prominent tournament called Smash World Tour, and they were notified that they can no longer operate their tournament.
Yeah. That's kind of shitty. You get a nice world tour set up, you get a nice tournament going, and everything's ready to go, and then all of a sudden you're told, hell no. Turns out somebody didn't get licensed. Do your fucking licensing, people!
But here's the thing: they said they were talking with Nintendo for 12 straight months. Don't you think Nintendo were like, "Hey guys, by the way, you didn't sign this paperwork for the licensure," instead of just waiting to the very day of the tournament? That, hey, by the way, no. Or is this just how Nintendo works now? It's like we're going to let them get all hyped for all the reasons in the world. Get all these people get plane tickets, get their passes, get their points, their spots in the tournament, and be like, you know what? Nah.
Well, Nintendo was funny. You remember back when Nintendo was going on a ban spree just on YouTube for just doing Let's Plays of their video games so they could like pump their own partner program? You remember that?
That
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, no, it was terrible. But it's kind
Just the worst.
of the same thing. Nintendo doesn't care until they do care, and it's normally money oriented, and that's fine because there's money in licensing.
Of course.
Right. Everything.
And one of the sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, licensing is important. Even with doing something like this, everything that you see and hear is either made by me or licensed and have permission and documents to do anything. Commercial licensing, like that's
Yeah.
the point. That I can't be stopped. I've got proof.
Unstoppable.
One of the biggest problems people have is assuming every I has been dotted, every T has been crossed. And unless you've got a lot of checks and balances to make sure that's getting done correctly, you're going to run into problems where at the last minute, someone's going to be like, hey, where's this piece of paper that says you're licensed for this? Oh, you're not. Well, sucks to suck. I'm actually surprised legal for what's their faces? The organizer, Video Game Boot Camp, didn't check that. Like that to me seems like a very important thing to screw up on.
But even then, on Nintendo's side, there should have been some kind of communication saying these documents are not in our paperwork. Can you get those to us before you start even advertising? Not 12 months later before the event. I think a ball was dropped on both sides in that regard. And Nintendo, instead of trying to work with the tournament, just axed it because Nintendo hates
Well, they hate everything, but
free
I
publicity.
wonder if it's also partially related to the fact that Nintendo may not view it as a quote unquote their problem. Sort of like it would be one of those you should have had your licensing sorted out, and we threw you the rope and you decided to hang yourself. Because I could see Nintendo doing that and not giving two shits and just sitting there and saying, "Well, you didn't get your licensing done. Well, screw you." Because it is Nintendo. They have gone after people for literally one frame of Pokemon in YouTube videos.
Really?
So, oh yeah. Like people post a picture of that was happening a couple of years ago. They were people posting like a frame or a picture out of one of the handheld Pokemon games. I don't remember which one it is because I don't play any of them. And people are getting copyrighted striked. And it's like it falls within fair use. Like fuck your hat. But no, that's the MO of Nintendo.
Now, thankfully, that's kind of loosened up a bit because there is been an explosion of Pokemon YouTubers recently, and they're all great people. I've talked with a couple of them. They're fantastic people, and they're making great content. And Nintendo seems to be letting them just do their thing. It's like they choose. I hate to say they choose their battles, or they just choose the people they want to bully. It just depends on how Nintendo feels at the time.
You know, it might be related to how Twitch enforces rules. If you make enough money for Twitch, you can get away with saying just about anything you want, and they don't enforce the rules. And we've seen that countless times with accounts with animals being abused and literally thrown or fed alcohol, people wandering through forests full of not friendly things that have happened, and still being allowed on Twitch. People literally having sex on Twitch and getting like a 5-day ban?
Oh yeah, what's her name?
Yeah. People legit have sex on this platform and they don't get penalized. But God forbid you are a small channel and don't bring in a lot of revenue.
And they make a good point in chat. They're protecting their IP. I get that. I understand that Nintendo has a crap ton of intellectual property, but they're not consistent on how they go after people about it.
No, of course not, because I think it comes down to literally how much money do they feel they can make off like a content producer versus just shutting them down and not having to worry about it.
Well, considering how much actual original IP they actually produce, or rather content involving their original IP at their frequency, I'm surprised that they're still in business. It's the licensing fees that are carrying them. And I don't remember if you remember when the Wii was released and
Oh yeah.
the complete garbage pile that was foisted onto that console for third-party support. That
I mean, I played Wii hockey, so that's all I know about it.
yeah, so that's just one of the things that they were doing to really protect their IPs or not their IPs, but their platforms and licensing and what because it got crazy. And
Didn't the GameCube have the disc spin backwards, like counterclockwise instead of clockwise?
I don't know. That's a good
I
question.
vaguely remember hearing something stupid about that as a method of like copy protection. Let me go double check that.
Yeah, that sounds like something they would do too. Say, hey, we're gonna go backwards. Now you really can't use our shit.
Yeah, they had like a custom-sized CD. They had all kinds of stuff for that GameCube. But
Now, in that same subject, though, I caught little bits of it on Twitter. Apparently, the other group in there, the Panda Global, is that what they're called?
yeah,
They don't seem to be innocent in the situation.
well,
I've seen a couple of people tweet about it and saw the quote unquote apology letter or statement letter from Panda, and it is bullshit.
Oh, it was a rumor that they were going backwards, but not actually founded. Because apparently, if you popped open the lid of a GameCube, you would see that it's spinning the right direction. I stand corrected.
Well, to Pandas, I didn't get that far into it. I know that it was the SWT folks that were alleging that Pandas sabotaged the actual licensing, or not licensing, but the actual ability for them to host the tours and whatnot. And mind you, this tour, they were supposed to have one coming up on, what was it, December? It was sometime in December in San Antonio. I think it was like the 9th through the 11th, or it was the 7th through the 11th. It was a good 4-day stretch, and the prize pool for that was like $250,000 for the winner. And I know that they were planning on doing it next year in 2023 for 350K, which would have been great. But according to the SWT folks, Nintendo was just like, no, you can't do it. So they had to cancel the tournament in San Antonio and any future tournaments after that. And they're looking to do full refunds and whatnot and travel arrangements for those affected by it, which is it's going to cost an arm and a leg just to even do that because their turnout is ridiculous.
Good on them for trying to compensate people, though.
Oh yeah, no, that's really good.
It's just insane because Nintendo has to open their eyes and see these other companies who are doing these massive tournaments to let these people who are actually good at the games that they've created make an actual living off of this. Like your Street Fighters, your Tekkens, your Call of Duties, your League of Legends. All these people have these huge ass prize pools for these people that put in. Like people who play Smash,
Like even StarCraft and shit like that, right?
mm-hmm.
Like massive prize pools and the WoW Arena tournaments and stuff. They're massive prize monies.
And for Smash players who really get into it and really put their metal behind their craft, that's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're learning up to the frame of how their characters work in the game. They dedicate everything they can, and it's equivalent to the golden child being great at everything, but then when they try to do the one thing that their parents don't want them to do, they get their ass beat. That's what it feels like about every time a Smash tournament tries to get going. I mean, it got knocked out of Evo because Nintendo didn't want it at Evo anymore. And Nintendo's going to eventually keep doing this so many times that they will start becoming archaic and falling into the past. It's going to happen. You can't ride Mario and Pikachu's tails forever.
The other
You
part,
have.
yeah, you're right. I mean, but they're also a Japanese-based company. and the Japanese culture is based solely on tradition. This is the way it should be. You shouldn't do it any other way, and it's very hard for change culturally for Japanese to accept. Like the older Japanese, I was reading up on this in an article somewhere talking about Japanese culture, where their children are actually doing things more efficiently or doing it differently or bypassing certain things, and they're just not happy. They look down on that because of the hierarchical. I don't know how to call it. I don't have a name.
Boomers. It's called boomers, Lumi.
Yeah.
The senpai system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, Capcom comes from Japan. Street Fighter comes from Japan. That's where it originates, and they're making hand over fist. Street Fighter 6 has their second closed beta in 2 weeks, and people are clawing through their screen to get their names on the list fast enough to be able to start getting good at this game because they know this game is going to be huge, especially on the tournament scene. And it's been like that since Street Fighter 3.
Really?
When it started in freaking small ass arena in Battle at the Bay is what they called it before it became Evo. Started there. That's when it got big with Justin Wong and the Beast. I'm gonna forget his name, of course. The big Evo moment where he parried every single one of Justin Wong's kicks, and the crowd went nuts. You can look at it. It's called Evo Moment 37. That lit the fire for Capcom to say, "Oh, we have something here. People love this. People want to get behind this." So from Street Fighter to Capcom versus Marvel to branching off into Tekken and everything else coming out of Japan, they started marketing the fire out of how good it is to get into these communities. And Nintendo has a chance to ride that wave, but instead they want to drain the fucking pool.
You know
It
what?
just doesn't, it doesn't make sense.
Slow.
You know what
and
that whole
safe.
thing reminds me of with Nintendo?
Hmm.
I think early 2000s and Napster in a very specific metal
God.
band.
Oh man,
They got slightly upset. And then think of the digital revolution that's happened ever since. It to me, it's also behaving like Microsoft when it came to Internet Explorer. When the internet first came around, Mozilla Foundation created Netflix, or Netflix was, or not Netflix, Netscape, and I think Netscape may have been its own company at the time. But either way, so Netscape and AOL got on board, and they're making their own web browsers. And Microsoft executives thought the internet was going to be a fad, and that's the same impression I get from these Nintendo execs, where they might think that these video game tournaments are just a fad, so why invest in them?
Meanwhile, you have esports, right? And that's
Exactly.
Oh,
It's almost like they don't want to believe that people don't necessarily want to play Pong anymore, or they don't want to play like Super Mario Brothers on a Nintendo Entertainment System. It's really just, to me, smells of like we've been saying, boomers who just don't understand that times have changed.
And then meanwhile, all the new kids on the block are saying, "Hey, look at what we're doing. Look at the communities we're building. Look at the fan base we have."
Hell yeah.
And Nintendo is systematically giving their fan base reasons to give up on them.
it's kind of
Oh, yeah.
like, you know how like the Buzz people are like, "Don't you guys have cell phones?" And then
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh God!
and then I kind of like look over and I'm like, "Haven't you guys played RuneScape?"
God.
I mean, that's
We
still
want
a
Diablo
thing.
4. It's going to be Diablo Mobile. What the fuck? Don't you have cell phones? Ugh. Talk about not being able to read the room.
Diablo immoral.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
happy about it too. They were really trying to force it down the audience's throat. There was like no major reception, no clapping. Like you could hear crickets. Like, yeah, it'll
I
be
should have
great.
held up like an old brick Nokia phone and be like, "How can I play Diablo on this?"
Also, just out of curiosity, notice how ever since that whole debacle went down, you haven't really heard much about Elder Scrolls Mobile.
Wait, that was going to be a thing?
Yep.
Oh,
Where they were
God.
starting to hint that the next Elder Scrolls game was going to be for your phone, and the whole thing went with Diablo, and then you ain't heard hair nor nothing about it since.
Well, the Elder Scrolls did have a mobile game at some point, but it was launched so quietly, and I think even Jim Stephanie Sterling actually did a piece on that particular thing. It was years ago. Like what was I'd give it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, about it, and it was mostly terrible. It was littered with microtransactions, as you would expect.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So it was trying to be Raid Shadow Legends?
Yeah.
Take swipe at possible future sponsor.
Oh no, I am not taking any sponsors for this. Nope, this is coming out of my pocket. Nope.
This episode brought to you by Raid Shadow.
Pretty much. But so what's interesting is Nintendo actually released a statement on what they were doing. What was it, yesterday or today? Because this has like been going on for quite some time. That they did not request the cancellation of the 2022 championship events that SCBT had planned.
Bullshit.
And they were considering the negative impact on the players who were already planning on to participate because, not. And solely based, and the decision was solely based on assessment of proposals submitted by the Smash World Tour and evaluation of unlicensed activities. So that's an interesting catch statement right there. So they were operating at the grace of Nintendo, and that's why licensing is important, as Naomi has said, because you have a license, so that license is revoked or it expires.
Or because nobody ever reads the fucking license agreement, maybe your license agreement doesn't cover certain things that you're trying to do.
They also called out that their decision was not influenced by external partners such as Panda Global. I like how they explicitly put that out. I imagine because that was a name that was being thrown around. And the decision to cancel those tournaments was their own choice. So I don't know. It's pretty much an official, one official statement versus the other official statement. So it's like hearsay almost, except it's in writing. Nobody knows what happened. We just know somebody said no. Somebody was like, "Oh, I have to cancel all this stuff," and the other party's like, "Yeah, no, we didn't say that at all. You could totally finish up. Go for it." So,
And yeah, here they are refunding tickets to everybody who want to go to the event.
well, at least they're offering refunds and travel arrangements. Like that's huge because travel right now is expensive.
Yeah.
Well, that and it's way better than what was that stupid music festival that's supposed to be on that island that Kanye West was involved with that went broke and
Like
Coachella?
fire.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
Is it-
was it Coachella? The fire thingy.
yeah.
It wasn't
Fire,
Burning Man because that Burning Man actually goes off without a hitch usually.
fire festival.
Yeah, that's what it was. That trash piece.
I mean, you had the
There's
word.
no bathrooms. There's no food for us. There's
Yeah.
nothing. We spend a lot of money for VIP and we don't have anything.
Poor babies.
Well,
It's like that-
I do enjoy the no food, but the no toilets is like a health and safety thing. I don't care if you starve to death. Just don't shit everywhere.
Which was the place?
That's important.
Starving
I'm all about the health and safety.
Yeah,
You know,
starving is humane, but getting syphilis through shit, not gonna happen.
To be fair, there's not going to be a lot of pooping going on if you don't have food.
Well, I mean, you'll end up vomiting
That's true.
at some point. So, I mean, there is definitely health and safety because someone's got to clean up all those bodies, and you want the less amount of goo around possible.
So is that
somebody
that's
is
not
speaking
the same-
from example?
Just
That's not
imagine
the same
The
place that had
Sims.
the ball pit, right?
I'm not allowed to play The Sims.
Yeah, just imagine it's The Sims, and you remove all the bathrooms from the house, and you remove all the doors. Like that's
Oh no, it was like my
You
brother
give
that
them
was playing.
pools.
It was so like my brother who played Roller Coaster Tycoon, and he didn't put in the bathrooms until dead last.
I just make them all go for a swim
Yeah.
forever.
Well,
And then Death drops by, and he's my best friend.
You would be in cahoots with death. You would be.
did
We broke Lumi.
yeah, I did, yeah. The caffeine had a hiccup.
Lumi.exe has stopped working. Please reboot.
Well, maybe I should give it a pass. And well, speaking of pass, let's talk about Last Pass and that shenanigans from the event in August. I think it was actually first reported by Last Pass on the 22nd. if I remember correctly. They had a security
Yeah.
breach. Do you want to lead on this one, Naomi?
Sure.
Go for it.
As soon as I click the button with the thing and the stuff. So, way back in, as I scroll down here, August 25th, LastPass's CEO put out a message on a blog post saying that they had detected some unusual activity 2 weeks previous, and they were engaging authorities and cybersecurity experts. One thing they had determined is that the unauthorized party had gotten into the development environment, not the production, but the development environment, and compromised through a single compromised developer account. Turns out that was a contractor. Make them regular employees and not contractors. Employees care, contractors don't. What? Um, labor rights? But yeah, so they stole some of the source code. They got access to technical information. Thankfully, though, the way people's passwords are set up, including the master password, uh, there's no direct interaction between the passwords and LastPass's systems. So they actually don't even have a hash of your passwords, whether that's the master password or any of the Vault supported passwords. They have none of that. So they have no access to it. So even if someone did steal a Vault, you have no easy means of access to it. And it would take you at this point in time several years to get in. So at least that part was all right. And they've been updating it throughout the summer. And as late as last week, they've been trying to be as transparent as possible with this whole thing. And they're working to understand the scope of the incident right now. And this is as of their November 30th update. So they've engaged Mandiant, a leading security firm, and they're still engaged with law enforcement. They're trying to figure out where the intruder got and how far and what all was accessed. And in the meantime, they can confirm that the actual product itself and the services are fully functional. They also double checked all their production code to make sure nothing was injected, and it came back clean. So I do have confidence in them still. They're probably the most transparent company I've seen when it comes to security breaches. And I suspect as more and more people move to password managers, because obviously remembering passwords is hard, I suspect we'll see more and more attacks on password management companies trying to get access to those user vaults.
And that is the reason why it's important to understand how they're storing your information.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
LastPass has a very robust system in how they store but don't touch / don't store your info. It's really cool. You can read up on it on their website on how the architecture works, but essentially comes down to they really can't help you if you ever fuck up your password.
Yeah, they call
They'll
it
send
their-
a password reset to your email account, but if you don't have access to that email account, well,
You're screwed.
especially since LastPass is holding your password for it. That would be terrible. That's the whole thing about like single points of failure that like really irritate me. I know that they call their system where they don't know what anything is the zero knowledge architecture, because everything is offloaded to some cloud provider somewhere, right? As far as storing all of this stuff, but it's still separate from the key, the master key, which is interesting.
Yep.
But single points of failure in anything you do, and you also got to ask yourself, why are we even talking about this in a gaming podcast? Well, because people use password management.
True.
I do.
When I was working for an old boss of mine, we had one that he was so paranoid, he made us change the password like monthly because he was so afraid that his quote unquote intellectual property, which was a bunch of empty websites, would get stolen. So I understand the paranoia, especially when something like this would happen. I'm not gonna. No, never mind. I'll talk about my own
I want to
password.
throw that person under the bus.
I've thrown him under the bus many times. I don't give a fuck about him. I was talking about more of my password habits. I'm not gonna talk about those tonight, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever
Yeah.
discuss your own password habits, but in general, using generalized terms and things you can find on security websites and generalized uh, good practice or best practice is a good way to discuss it. But yes, you brought up why we use that or why we're talking about it in a gaming podcast because password managers are pretty much in use everywhere by a lot of people. I know pretty much all of my passwords are managed by LastPass or held by LastPass. So unless they were to suffer a significant breach, I'm not going to move my stuff out of their holding or out of their vaults.
And that's the other part about this too. It happened in their developer environment, and you did mention that it's completely separate from their
Yeah.
prod environment, which means it's on two separate networks. They're not connected. Its own circuit. It's its own circuit, which makes it nice. And it was a
And
develop.
that's best practice too.
Oh yeah. And there was a saying floating around the office. It was everybody has a test environment, but only a few have it separate from prod.
The number of times, so for those of you who don't know, prod is a IT term or short term for production network. So it's like what your customers see. That's what anyone visiting your website sees, that production environment, and then your developer or dev network is supposed to be something completely separate. So when you break something on there, you don't affect customers.
Indeed. Yep. So there you go. I'm still using those stupid things. I don't like the idea that there's a single point of failure. Right? You lose one password, you lose access to everything that you have.
That is scary. That was always the biggest fear of mine. Like I accidentally hit fat fingering something twice because my ass would do it one, like to confirm the password and then fuck it all up twice, and then have to go talk to him like, yeah, about our passwords.
Copy paste. If you're, no, I'm serious. Like if you're ever worried about typing out a very complex password, very few websites block the clipboard. So go to Notepad or the Run window, Windows key R, in case you forget. Not that I've been doing all that all week. And type the password out there where you can see it in plain text, and then just select all of it, copy and paste it into the two windows. If anything, some websites will detect that it was copy pasted and won't let you click next until you delete the last character and retype it manually, and then you're good.
Well, this was me when I was a wee lad of 24, so that I was a bit more skittish around computers than I am now.
Oh,
So
I've been okay. We won't talk about how long I've been doing that for.
longer,
Good Lord, I'm
longer,
fucking old.
yeah, longer than me to the 15th power.
Well, I'll go with that. But yeah, the single point of failure is what bugs me. And but don't get me wrong. Like they have like enterprise grade, password protection for your enterprise. That's fantastic. It's trusted, it's
Tis.
backed, it's bonded, whatever it is you need to know. So, and I don't know. That's just me. It's just like the idea of like I used to know all of the phone numbers that I've ever had to dial. I don't know a single one of them. All I have to do is memorize mine. So you know what happens if I have to call somebody that's important?
I look in my contact list.
Exactly. What if you forget your phone? What if you are
Then,
arrested? Who are you
well,
gonna
see, the
call?
problem with me is I remember phone numbers very quickly, usually within dialing it once. It's the same thing where if you type your password in front of me, I'll know your password, and that's terrible.
It's like ka-chink. All right, it's been scanned. I know now.
Yeah, basically, because I go out of my way to look away when people are typing their passwords. But I've been in a few situations where looking away was not possible, and it was sort of like, God damn it, I
I
don't want to
now
know
can
these
ruin your
things.
life. I'm sorry.
So at the
Well, yeah,
UVP broadcast LAN party, we just got to make sure IME is on the opposing table.
yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
But
Don't worry, I still run packet capture and I monitor all network traffic on my network at home because Turbo Nerd.
give him a blindfold until we're all set up and ready to roll.
Yeah, don't use facial recognition or biometrics because they're not that reliable yet. They can still be faked.
Yeah.
Yeah, until fingerprint biometrics can't be faked anymore, I'm not going to trust them. I don't remember how well facial recognition biometrics can be faked.
I think it really just depends, because there are folks out there with similar features as you. I mean, not necessarily the black lines and whatnot, but like people.
Not to mention, if you have a picture of somebody on your phone, you'd be like, ka-ching.
Right.
Well, I remember when they first started coming out, I think it was Apple that had an issue with theirs where you could just hold up a picture of someone, like of the phone owner, and it would let it go through like, "Oh, hey, that's you."
I know
I
with
think it
Windows.
was Apple. I want to blame Apple just because I hate Apple.
Fuck Apple.
Well, I know that with Windows Hello, and they were really pumping that. I think that your camera had to have some sort of IR scan or something like that. Kind of like the same stuff that SETA uses to motion track their hands would be
Mhm.
used to also verify the depth and construction of your face.
Neat.
So, well,
Turbo nerd stuff tonight.
yeah, pretty much. Speaking of
I enjoy that.
face, here we're going to be using Nord's face here in just a second. Are you
Is
ready
it
for this?
time?
Yeah, I think it is. Go ahead.
All right, let me go get my shit.
All right, you go do that.
God damn Pilk.
So,
If he cut
Pilk,
it the same way that I did, he's not going to be disappointed. At first, it might hit him like, this is interesting, but I think as you get in that little rabbit hole, you start liking it. It's weird.
indeed. As soon as he gets that camera on, I'll do the transition. So, Pilk, what is Pilk? Grit, you want to lead on that one? Tell us what Pilk is.
It's like Pepsi milk, but mostly Pepsi.
In the same
It's kind of like a
West.
deconstructed, like a melted, not really melted down. It's not really frothy like a melted float, but it's kind of like the same idea.
Fair enough.
Gross.
I think it sounds disgusting, but also
Yes.
I think of mixing stuff with milk like I think it's just synonymous with me for a. Have you ever heard of a trash compactor?
No, but have you heard of a cement mixer?
Ah, that same thing.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I figured that's where you were gonna go with that.
Yeah, it's where you.
Now we're talking about booze tonight, people.
Indeed.
Games and booze.
Well, I know that that Nordic is going to take it a step further and do a Jaeger shot in it. So
Oh,
yeah, we're all going to witness it.
no.
So
Just
Like I said, I'm not angry if you actually go to Twitter. I made someone on Twitter say, no, no, no.
good.
Poor Delan.
all right, I see a Cajun, so let's get.
All right,
this
I got the
transition over.
stuff.
All right, so hope everything's still aligned. Yes, we're still aligned. We're
Let's
good.
cross our fingers. We're going in.
So before you go in, and did you already port and whatnot, or are you going to do that here live?
Oh no, we got plenty of time. I'm taking my sweet ass time doing this.
All right, well, tell us about what it is you're about to do. Would you read up on it, or on how you need to mix it, or anything?
Well, according to what Crit was saying and what we saw with old Lindsay Lohan, she poured the Pepsi over the ice and then poured the milk on top and then started sipping.
I don't think she added the ice, but I added it to actually, like, give it more of that chilled thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, I'm going sans ice because I'm about to chug the fire out of this. I have my Pepsi here, and I have my hit the microphone. I have my tall
Punch the mic.
shot glass of milk. Right, Joe?
Okay.
That works.
And I am, to quote one of my favorite TikTokers, Big Pike Mike, I am going to sinker and drinker, as it were. So I'm going to pour the Pepsi, and we're going to do this live.
All right. What we need is like inspirational music playing in the background, or like
I have the tiger.
yeah,
Dun,
that's
dun,
copyrighted though.
dun, dun. Dun.
Let's see. I have
Just do it. Do it.
Well, hell to the fuck no.
courtesy of if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device. Oh, I've got the perfect thing if it tastes disgusting and makes him cringe.
Oh,
I've got that ready to go.
all
I
right.
really hope it
Pepsi is
makes him.
loaded into the
I'm
chamber.
gonna turn off push to talk and go. It'll just activate it so y'all can
Go for it,
enjoy all the sound effects.
dude.
Ugh,
Give me one moment.
That's a good looking mic, by
consumes
the
more.
way. I don't think I've seen that mic.
Oh, this is my arm boom. Hi.
Oh, look at that. It's a cute little mic. He's got like a short little stub and everything. It's like this.
Cute. A little chub mic. All right, y'all can hear me.
No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
God damn it.
Here we go. You know what to
Alright.
do.
For the
Seeker.
content.
Oh, you're gonna drop it in there like a bomb. All right.
Jaeger bomb, baby. We're going big.
All right.
There's a cut on that side. I'm gonna turn it around.
You should call that the Jaeger Bomb Redeemer.
Well, watch
Too
his
bad
Mentos
he's not in
and Coke out
chat,
of there.
man. All right, here we go.
All
3,
right.
2, 1.
Oh, he didn't even mix it. Oh.
Oh.
No, you don't have to mix it.
Oh, I gagged.
Well,
Lindsay Lohan doesn't mix it. She just drinks it after she pours it. It's not bad.
he's processing. Look at it. You can see, like, if I could put up like the math gif on his face right now, I totally
Yes. I just gagged.
It,
Like, oh.
it tastes like a poor man's Coke float. It really does.
That's what I was saying.
Really?
Like,
Like I was expecting the milk to be kind of off-putting, but once it hits your palate at the same time with the Pepsi, it tastes just like a Coke float. It goes in smooth. It's actually not bad. Next time I would probably try to sip it.
yeah, that's what I was doing, like slowly.
But I had to be different, of course, and do the whole Jaeger bomb situation. But it's not bad. It is not the worst thing I've ever put up. Not finishing that statement. Not finishing that
Go
statement
on.
live on chat.
I'm kidding.
You can follow it up with some alcohol. There you go.
But it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. I'm not disgusted. That was probably the first Pepsi I've had in, like I was telling you, years. So that's probably going to come back to bite my ass soon. I can already feel the bubble gut starting. But
What have I been saying on Twitter? I said the same thing pretty much. It's like, I'm not disgusted by it, and that's when they're like, no.
I thoroughly am disgusted by that.
You don't like Coke floats?
Oh. I like a Coke float, but just
Well, Coke floats are. This is just a Pepsi sink. It's great. It tastes delicious.
no. Well, first off, I hate Pepsi with a passion. It tastes like flat Coke.
Whew.
Like just awful.
Now it begs the question: what would a Coke taste like with this? If it would actually come across as tasty too. Now you got me curious. That gummit crit.
What?
Look what you
I
started.
was just gonna every week from now till whenever he's done sampling every booze known to man, he's gonna be testing that out.
How about this? We're gonna start a Twitter poll every month. We're gonna have one sinker and drinker of whatever y'all want me to try, and I'll do it live on stream. How about that?
You know what?
I'm down. I'm down with that.
All right.
That was fun. That was really fun to chug that and just to get that flavor hit you.
All right. Well, I tell you what. You make it happen. Like you set up the poll and whatnot. If you get responses and make it happen, we can pull up the Cajun Cam.
Let's do it, baby.
Oh yeah, I'll have to find.
How do it live.
Like, have you ever had what is it, Sprite with sherbet ice cream?
Mm-hmm. That's tasty.
Oh yes.
That's very tasty.
You people are weird.
It's not.
You're too normal. How about that, sir?
If I'm not mistaken, actually, I knew about that from elementary school because back in New York, we had we liked the inclusiveness of actually learning about people's cultures because New York is such a mixing pot. So one of my classmates that came from Haiti brought up the sherbet ice cream with the Sprite. So we tried it in class for like a potluck type thing, and it was one of the best things that they brought to the potluck.
It's the citrus. The citrus with the sherbet just tastes really good. It's really tasty. I know. I used to work with somebody who had never tried actual ice cream and only had tried sherbet for their entire life since they were a child. I was like, you poor baby.
Talk about a rocky road in life.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There's your pun.
Cheers. We've been waiting for one all night from you.
Facepalm.exe has crashed and needs to restart.
Outside of Pegnog.
Pegnog. We should do that for Christmas.
Oh my, UDP After Dark.
Oh, no.
You have to have a UDP OnlyFans for that. That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You have your milk, you have a cut of eggnog, and then you have your Pepsi. Mm.
So,
Oh, that was
What?
fun.
so that's it. We've got the Pilk out of the way, and it wasn't pickle milk; it was Pepsi milk. So there you
Next
go.
time I'm gonna try it
I
with
heard you
pickle
guys talk
straw.
about. I heard you guys talk about pickle milk. What happened? What was going on with that?
Yeah, I think next time I'm gonna try it out of a pickle straw.
Oh, there you go.
No, what you do is you just get a glass of milk and drop a shot of pickle juice and chug it like I do.
No,
Oh.
That's
You can
like,
do
Wait,
it. I'm
would
not
you
doing
use would you use dill pickle juice?
yes, I don't eat any other kind of pickle. I hate bread and butter and I hate sweet pickles. It has to be dill pickle.
talk about Justin Bryan.
Just like relish has to be
God
relish.
damn it.
Why?
Yes.
Why
God damn it.
did I do that?
Yes.
No, Amy had replied or retweeted my tweet about that we were going live and whatnot, and he hashtagged Pilk, and I was like, well, what's even in that hashtag? And I looked it up, and I saw Lindsay Lohan all over the place, of course, doing her patented smile and milk.
So tasty.
Right,
In
and
Nico Arc thing. I'm sorry.
and
So they
some-
actually photoshopped Lindsay Lohan as one of those Nico Arc things drinking the Pilk.
I saw that. And that made it even worse.
I was like,
I
damn it.
I entirely blame Dancwart for everything.
Always blame the cat.
Oh, of course.
This is all because of the two cats next to me. This is their fault.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, no, there was.
I don't know if he's still if he's around today or whatever, if he's gonna pop in later, but I do wish him a happy birthday.
Yes, Merry
Yes.
Birthmas.
Absolutely.
Merry Extraction Day.
You were removed like a tumor on this day.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
fitting
it's
to
Parasite
actually,
Removal Day.
it's actually fitting to have a glass of Pilk on his birthday to celebrate his birthday, since we
Oh.
don't have a.
We have to clip the whole singer and drinker just for him so he can enjoy it with us.
Oh, he'll get it. So, all right.
No.
So this might take some time. We've been gone for 3 weeks, and I know Cajun has some stories. I'm going to save him for last, so that way he can tell us all about his 2 weeks in Scotland. But there was also some other things going on. I was out of town in Nevada helping family. It wasn't really a pleasure trip, but I got to see family I hadn't seen in a few years, so that was exciting. That's pretty much my story. But let's go ahead and start off with the barcode and the chicken. So tell us what's been going on. What have we been doing? Thanksgiving was eventful.
Oh,
I flew down to go see Curry Chicken, and I have had so much barbecue, and I need to sample all of it.
oh yeah,
It's
he had
really
the boom
fucking
boom
good.
chicken, or not chicken, but the boom boom shrimp over at Mojo's.
Mojo's?
Ooh,
Yeah.
chicken is good.
So-
It was.
He
Holy
actually
crap.
wants to get a winter house over in St. Augustine just for that alone.
Yes, just for the
We-
barbecue.
And then there's the lore involved in St. Augustine, since it's the oldest established town in the United States. We ended up kissing underneath the tree of eternal love.
That's adorable. I'm gonna be sick.
Because
Yes.
Too
there's a
damn
tree
sweet.
there's a tree that actually is two trees kind of like spliced together, and the lore behind it is if you actually kiss under the tree of eternal love, then your love is supposed to be a thing for ever.
Like an
Whatever.
internal barcode.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we went to Augustine. There was so many places that I did want to take him, but we didn't have a chance.
Just gives more reason to come back every weekend. What?
Yeah.
But it was great. At first, it was I actually got to the bag claim before he did and stuff like that. So I was like, hey, you probably don't know where your bag claim is, but it's probably going to be at this gate here. So he actually came up to me and pounced me and almost knocked me over.
The
Well, so
glompage.
I had I know what she looks like, and I had I saw someone who like as I was looking from behind, so I saw her. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's her. I want to make sure that if I'm gonna run at that person and hug them, I'm not hugging some random stranger. So I was trying to like awkwardly move to her side so I could just see her face and make sure it was her, without looking creepy. And it was really fucking hard. But as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh yeah, that's her. Whack.
It was hard to identify
Target
him because he
acquired.
had his mask on, but I did find out why his flight got delayed.
Oh, goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
so we were up maybe 45 minutes to an hour into the flight, and on the PA, as it would just happen to happen, a call out for medical staff was made on my flight. And of course, since I paid for internet, I had fun yammering about it the entire way down. And so I was wondering, I was just warning her that, I might be late because, we might have to land the plane because there's medical emergency, whatever. There was both a physician and a nurse, and both of them were able to help the patient. I ended up speaking to the nurse, or sorry, the physician when we landed, and she said every time she's flown, she always ends up on a flight where there's a medical emergency. But what had happened was some kid got something where he shouldn't have. If you want to finish that crit.
Oh, there's so
Okay,
many
so I
orifices
found
that
out
could be
about
wrong.
it. I was worried at first or whatever, and then I was at the baggage claim. So one of the grandparents of the child was actually waiting for them, the family, at the baggage claim. So I overheard, like, yeah, I know what happened on the flight. So I was kind of like eavesdropping a little bit. He's like,
As one
yeah,
does.
my grandson ended up not following the directions of the make sure that your trays are in the upright position because he was enjoying his soup, and he ended up spilling hot soup on his crotch area.
Ooh.
Like I
I was like, and
said.
that's going to be one for the memory book.
Instant PTSD for flying from now on.
Well, it's funny because it's like you think for a second, like, where'd the kid get soup? And it's like, there's a Tim Hortons in the airplane in the airport when you're past security. So I mean, it's Canada. There's Tim Hortons just about like every 6 feet. So yeah, you probably got to soup from there, and he'll learn. Probably never going to do that again.
Oh, he learned today, boys. He learned today.
Like,
I
I
know.
never want to have soup ever again.
There'll be flashbacks. What are we having? Stew. Isn't that like soup? No.
No.
It's just thicker soup. It's thicker and can be way hotter.
Guess you could say he's going to stew on that memory for a while.
There it is.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Hey.
Oh man, if somebody could do the Cleveland voice, that'd be great.
I can't. I'm sorry.
I can't do that one.
Awesome. Anything else interesting happen while between barbecue and whatnot?
Yeah, it turns out her dogs love me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
always-
I made
that's-
instant friends with her dogs, and yeah, they were just like, I want all the attention from you. So like every time we went and visited her family for a couple times, and every time I was over there, the dogs were like, it's the barcode.
Meanwhile, my mom's dogs actually usually bark at my father, so I'm just like, looks at barcode, remembers dad, looks at barcode, remembers dad. I'm like, oh.
Well, that's how you truly know that you've fallen for the right girls when the animals love you too. That means you're in. You're
Oh, yeah,
completely
absolutely.
in.
Plus, also, Cosmo made a trip to Canada. Yay!
He did, yes.
It was sweet though. Like
Cosmo.
I brought over Cosmo to to have his own bed in the hotel room, and like the lady that was housekeeping would always like tidy up around and make sure that Cosmo was extra tucked in or whatever.
Aw.
It was really adorable because I had thrown him under the covers, just like tucked him in, just to have a fun little picture. But it wasn't hotel tucked in tight, or the tucked in tight that my grandparents would have wanted to see. Whoops. And so we went out, we came back, and he's like perfectly tucked in. It's like, oh.
And then we
Yeah.
also protected a lady's job for the most part because we were at Olive Garden and this one, really snobbish couple decided they wanted to complain to the manager, LOL, because at the very beginning, the waitress was like, hey, at the very beginning, do you want this to be on a split check? And at the end of their order, they're like, oh no, we want to split a check. I'm like, she mentioned that at the very beginning and you guys are being difficult now. And they were saying that she is rude and whatnot. So me and Barcode had to essentially save someone's job for the holidays.
Sounded
And I was like,
On you.
sounded they were pulling a Nintendo.
Yeah.
yeah. It was really stupid because it's like everything they were saying was categorically wrong. And I hate when people try to, make up for their own shortcomings by blaming other people. Like if you fuck up, you fuck up. Just, mention that and, accept it. So if you forget to ask for a bill to be split, then just own it and go, yeah, sorry, can I get it split? It's a little bit extra, or might be a little bit extra for the wait staff, but at the end, you're just demonstrating you're a decent human being, and these people clearly weren't.
No.
I wish them a happy, destroyed automobile.
I pray that their
I don't
crotch
care if
be
they're in it or not.
infested. I pray that their crotch be infested with the fleas of 1,000 camels, and their arms are too short to scratch.
Oh, no. Oh, that's horrifying.
You're
and
welcome.
Funny.
This is why we're friends.
Exactly. Good.
So what about you guys, Nordic? And unless I missed something, what did I miss?
Huh?
I spent 4 days traveling, 2 days there, 2 days back. It was really boring. I'm old, and I found out I can only do about 10 hours at a time before, I have to be very careful. So,
Fair.
I think I stopped in Sky City on my way to Nevada both times there and back. But it was a beautiful drive during the day. It's terrifying during the night, and I think Flagstaff was probably the most terrifying out of it all going there because the temperature dropped really low. It started snowing. I'm on a mountain. This is the highest point in the entire trip, 7,000 plus feet in the air, above sea level. And mind you, everything was dry. It was just blurry, snowed. The ground was too hot at that particular point for it to actually stick, and the traffic on it, of course, was keeping the roads warm. So we hadn't hit full swing snow season yet in the mountains. It was still terrifying because I didn't know what to expect or what was coming up. But once I actually hit desert again, down in Kingsman, Arizona. That's right. The song should be going through your head now. Just to keep it easy. But other than that, it was really nice. I got to see my brother. I got to see my nieces and nephews I hadn't seen in over 10 years. I think my nephew is going to one of the more prestigious high schools to help him with his photography, which is what he's doing. And I think my little niece is doing the same. But other than that, everything's doing fine. I got to spend other people's money gambling, and it was just a lot of driving.
Not my money, gonna use it. Not my money.
Now, what I'm more interested in is what happened in Scotland. Tell us about
Scotland. Yes, it was a dream vacation / makeup honeymoon kind of situation. For me and the missus, when we first got married, we never really had a honeymoon because we were young, dumb, and broke. So we never really had one. But now that we've gotten our lives on track, she fell in love with the show Outlander, as many people have in this nation. She even has all the books. I know we already turned off the camera. I'll show it another time. She behind me, the whole collection of the books with a Outlander bookend is sitting next to her computer screen. She fell in love with Scotland. She fell in love with the scenery. She fell in love with the lore and the history and the people. And a year and a half ago, she looked at me square in the eye and says, "Jamie." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "We're going to Scotland." I said, "Okay." when this woman puts her mind to something, it happens. And the first time I saw it happen, not to prolong the Scotland trip story, We had just gotten married. We were big into the show True Blood, and there was a convention in Florida for it called Icon. And she gave me the same look she gave me for Outlander. She said, "We're going to this convention," and in 3 months, she managed to scavenge every penny she could to pay for gas, room, board, and everything to that convention. So when she says we're doing something, I know I'm just going along for the ride. At that point, I'm just there smiling because I know we're going. It's going to happen. The flights there, we had to go from Lafayette to Houston, then Houston to Germany, and then Germany to Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland. The flight there was 9 hours over the Atlantic, and then hour and a half to Edinburgh. So not too bad. We slept most of the time, other than the 3-year-old child I wanted to punt out the plane that cried every 2 minutes.
That's reasonable.
Scotland is gorgeous. Scotland is absolutely gorgeous. Like, they have so much to see between just the landscape, they have so many damn castles. Like, we saw maybe 3 or 4, and I was told there were hundreds. I was like, I believe it. I believe we could literally climb up a mountain somewhere and there's a random ass castle that nobody's even heard of just chilling. I believe that. That's how Scotland is and how they were as they existed. We stayed in Edinburgh the first night, which is the capital, beautiful city. I got to learn how to drive on the opposite side of the road real quick. She was not allowed to because she's a nervous driver as it is. So getting her to learn how to drive on the opposite side of the road, I was like, no, I want you to actually enjoy this vacation. I'll take the brunt of the driving, which, by the way, on the rental car that we drove, they gave us a receipt of how much we did. I drove 2,000 miles in a week.
What's that in real numbers?
I forgot what kilometers is.
I think I drove about that. It's like, okay, I know you remember our journey to like St. Augustine, right? It's about like 100 miles or whatever. So imagine about multiple trips of that.
3,220 kilometers.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's not just city roads. That's talking country roads and winding mountain trails. Like, at one point, I felt like I was playing in Gran Turismo just because of the way I was just flying around these curves in the mountains. Because at first it's weird, but then the moment you feel comfortable, it's open game. Because half the time there is no speed limit at all.
Well, what?
Yeah, once you leave civilization and get out into the country roads and the mountains, I looked at the speedometer and it said it had the cross sign over it, said there's no speed limit. Go for it. Which, to be fair, you're not going to be going faster than 30 or 40 around those curves anyway.
Oh yeah.
But on the straightaways, boy, I was cruising. It was so much fun. Some of the best things I saw while I was there, we saw the William Wallace Memorial. It is a giant. Picture the tower where Saruman lived in the Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
That's how tall that monument was. It was it was on top of a hill. I say hill, top of a mountain, and it overlooked the valley. And across the valley, on the opposite side, it was Castle Stirling. And in terms of lore, that's how he saw the English coming to attack from that direction. William Wallace was a badass dude. He pulled a Sparta against Britain. There was one tiny ass bridge in between him, the rest of Scotland, and the British Army. But the bridge was so small you could only go 2 by 2. So these British guys were going over the bridge, and as soon as they get to the other side, Wallace was waiting there with his men and killed everybody who attempted to cross that bridge. So you either died on the bridge or you hightailed it home and got your ass beat by your commander. There was no in between.
Talk about dying on that hill.
That was quite the hill to die on.
Oh yeah, and the river definitely ran red with blood. What the lore says.
But was there a troll living under that bridge?
Yeah, him. He was waiting. Unfortunately, that made him the hero. He became the guardian, the defender of the realm. I believe was the official title, or guardian of the realm. Which is basically the king of the people, the people's champion, as it were. And But then, of course, Britain does what Britain does, gets pissed, comes back full force, and slaughters his army. He barely gets away, goes to lobby for Scotland, comes back home on holiday or just to come bring good news or some kind of news, gets betrayed by one of the people that were actually on his team when he was there. And of course, he gets hung, quartered, and, destroyed for everybody to see, which only cemented his legacy and made Scotland really, really fight against Britain after that. So it was a very great and humbling experience to know that kind of garbage went down even back then. That was in the 1200s that happened. And not to keep rambling on, there's one story that I know everybody's going to enjoy. It was the last castle we saw before we ended the day. I forgot the name. I'll have to put it in chat later. It was a little castle that changed hands multiple times over history. Multiple clans had owned that castle, and it ended with the clan, the Grants. This castle had been attacked by Vikings. It had been attacked by Irishmen. It had been attacked by Brits. It had been attacked finally by Jacobites. And the Grants sat there. You're like, they literally said, "Fuck this shit." They filled the bottom of that place with gunpowder and blew the shit up. It says we don't want to deal with it anymore and left. True story. I was like, they pulled in America. I love this.
It's like too many people are fighting over this thing. Let me just end it.
So
exactly.
What you're saying is they kind of fuck, never mind. The joke dies. Oh, they kind of did something like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Something like that.
Ooh. I really need an explosion sound.
Yes, we do. We need the what the fuck. That's what we need. But yeah, it was awesome.
Searches.
We're planning on going back in 2025 because in Inverness, one of the big cities of Scotland, there's a castle literally in the middle of the city, and they're renovating it to be a big monument museum and tourist attraction. And we're like, "Yep, we'll be back. we shall return, and we're going to bring little man with us." At that point, he'll be old enough to understand, not to be loud on the plane, and it's going to be a good time. And driving from the top of the Isle of Skye all the way back to Edinburgh was 250 miles for the last leg of the journey. I would loved it, but I will never do that again. That's a lot of driving, especially when it starts getting dark on the back roads of the country. I wouldn't do that in America, let alone a place I don't know. But it was great. If you ever get the chance to go, anybody listening and anybody here, haggis is delicious. I don't care what anybody says. Haggis is phenomenal. It's the best mince pie I've had in my entire life. And every restaurant you go to, if they have sticky toffee pudding, eat it. It is to die for. And that's the too long didn't read of the Scottish trip.
Nice. That's supposed to be up front, not at the end. You know that, right?
It's in details.
It sounds like everybody had a good time, and we all made it back safe. So I guess it really comes down to, because I'm pretty sure, because Christmas is on a Sunday this year, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to be broadcasting that. So I guess
negative, Ghost Rider.
Anybody have any trips coming up between here and Christmas weekend, or perhaps New
Probably
Year's
not.
weekend as
I'm
well?
gonna be working, and this is probably the last broadcast that you'll see me as a 33-year-old.
All right, you'll be a 33-and-a-half-year-old. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna be 34 in January.
All right, fine.
The first.
The only thing I'll be doing is we'll be taking care of the missus. She is actually having shoulder surgery next Thursday. She a couple months ago when we first got our dog, the dog was still learning where to go potty and all that good stuff. She didn't realize that there were a couple of wild chickens in the backyard, and the dog was still.
Wait, hold on, stop right there. You have wild chickens?
I say wild. They belonged to somebody, but they had gotten out. And they've been roaming our neighborhood for a week. So I call them the wild chickens. They didn't belong.
They have wild donkeys just on the outskirts of Las Vegas, which is why I was like, wait a minute, wild chickens, is that a thing? Is there a sign for that or anything like that?
If that was the
wild
case,
turkeys about 45 minutes north of my house.
Like I said, if
They
there's
will
some
actually attack you and attack your car.
That sounds like the moose. Moose do
They're
that too,
just
huh?
stupid.
Oh. Anyway, she didn't realize the chickens were back there. They've been going back there, and they just rummage back there and eat bugs and whatnot. And Joyce didn't notice it, but the dog did. And she had the leash locked because she was going to have the dog go down the steps and go use the restroom, so she could stay on the deck and just guard and just teach the dog where her limits were. No, the dog decided to do a super dog and fly off the back deck and took Joyce with her.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's not much to Joyce. So.
No, 30-pound dog with that kind of momentum was pretty much me pushing Joyce's full momentum off the back deck, and it made her land on her shoulder, and it tore the tendon between the shoulder and bicep. Not all the way. It was just a minor tear. It's called a slap tear. And she thought it was nothing at first, but then she noticed that 3 months later, she's still in. She can't lift anything above her head without intense pain. Can't go to the gym without intense pain. Doctor said, "Oh yeah, there's a tear right there. I need to sew that, or it will continue to tear and it will continue to get worse." So she says, "Sign me up, doc. I can't live like this no more." So next Thursday, she's going underneath there. She'll have a a sling holding her arm to her for 6 weeks. So I will be babying her and chauffeuring her and cooking for her and cleaning for her and all that good stuff. So that's what I have looking forward to during the holidays. Being
Gotcha.
husband mode.
Good. Well, yeah, just to bring up some Legacy Lumi stuff, I want you to say these words to her. Are you ready?
Yep.
No dying.
Yes.
Not allowed.
That's correct. I will let her know that the day of. Let me told me to give you this message.
Please do.
Not allowed.
Perfect. I think with that, that's pretty much it. Anybody else have anything else going on or need to get out of their system? Because it's been 3 weeks.
I mean, I was gonna say if we ever get something together, whereas me and Amy decide to tie the knot, we were thinking about having a Emerald
White
Dream.
wedding.
No, Emerald Wedding.
Oh, Emerald wedding. Oh, you're gonna
Yeah.
make my ass have to get back on World of Warcraft? Shit.
Wait.
Yeah.
If no, it's a guarantee, ma'am.
I can hear her blushing right now. I can hear it. I can hear it.
Is it going to be like alongside like a stand-up wedding, or is it just?
It could be WoW themed, like dressing up, kind of like at least not really like you have to be like in casual. Not it doesn't have to be all out. Like you need to have like the best gear. I'm gonna check your Raider IO score when you get to the wedding. If you dress like you're level 1 noob, you're not allowed. No.
But you realize Cajun used to be, or maybe still is, a professional cosplayer. He did a really good Deadpool one year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
I'm
too
in
have a
orders.
Deadpool.
Yes, sir.
I have a submachine gun it's an MP5 or MP4 sitting in my closet. It's cast resin and it weighs a fuck ton.
Dang.
But-
To this day, it was my favorite cosplay simply because the missus went as Harley Quinn. So it was the
Nice.
best couple thing ever. But yeah, if you do if it happens to be just in WoW, sure, I'll show up. I will buy a subscription to come watch your wedding. But if you do it in real life, I will come fully decked out in cosplay.
Oh,
We
yeah,
were thinking about IRL, yeah.
Yeah, I will come
Yeah.
fully decked out as either Loktar orc or I will come as a night elf, whatever y'all
A
decide.
knife elf.
I'm going to
Knife
come as
elf.
an overworked dad and
A night
support
fae.
engineer.
So
What's wrong with
no.
you? Not enough coffee.
I'm
No,
gonna come as a end user license agreement.
Oh, no.
Oh wait, sorry, that's my Halloween costume. It's
No,
the most
that's the
terrifying
vows.
thing
What are you talking about?
ever. Oh my god, you just gave me an amazing fucking idea.
You accept these terms of service. I
Yeah.
do.
You totally should.
I will actually rewrite the GNU public license to be wedding vows now. Oh my fucking god.
All you got to do is tell
And it's
me
gonna be like
when and where, and I'll
9
save up for you.
pages to read.
I will hit the check mark and move on.
Do you accept the license terms? Next, just have someone in the back just yell out, "Next!"
Next. I do
Well,
not
just-
agree.
Just give us a good year's heads up so I have plenty of time to plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Absolutely.
That way I can break it to the wife that I'm going to Canada. That also means I
Oh,
gotta get my passport.
At
Canada.
that point, we're probably going to be, what is it, dual citizen, so it either or, whatever works.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That's awesome. I
At
look
least I'll
forward.
have like
I look forward to.
residency permit in the U.S.
Oh, we look forward to the
I don't
Emerald
know
Dream.
about that dual there citizenship.
You're not ready for it?
Not that kind. Not ready for that kind of commitment yet.
I don't think you want to pay taxes in 2 countries.
He wants
True.
to. He wants to
Yeah,
marry
just
you, not
one
America.
country is good enough.
You should probably do the country with actual health care support from the government.
Ooh,
Correct.
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 that's true. But yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Best
It was-
decision ever I made was to go down and see her.
Yep, I agree. I wasn't even there.
Awesome.
Just seeing her tweets about y'all's adventures was like, oh, they're so damn cute.
Especially when Holly was like, "Get a room." I'm like, "We're already in it." And
We're
she's
in
like,
it, baby.
I mean, we have a hotel room. Is that what you mean?
"Get a room, you too." And she's like, "Cringe."
All right. I think we need to go ahead and terminate the local recording for this podcast, and we'll continue on. I'll
Exterminate.
go hit up a
Later,
Warbringer
chat.
Jalen,
Later, people.
potentially. So, all right.
Which is he who's ironically playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah, Smash Brothers. There you go. That's where we're
Fucking
going.
hilarious.
So, either way, give us a good follow. Nordic Cajun, Luminary Weekly, IME21, and
Needs espresso and possibly Pilk.
Pilk.
and possibly Pilk. On Twitter, and everything else you need to know about us is in our description on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Luminary Weekly. Again, it's been great, and we'll see you again next week for another adventure of a crit chicken, a barcode, a Cajun, and a Minecraft-ish looking dude. So, have fun, everyone. Bye-bye.
An SQL database.
And one more thing
Yay.
for the road. Again, a very happy birthday to Dancwart.
Indeed.
Merry Birthmas.
Merry
Happy Extraction
Birthmas.
Day.